With the help of small building blocks and the newest advances in technology, your coffee maker, fridge, TV, microwave oven, washing machine, car, clothes, and yes, even you and your cat will all be connected to the internet. By 2020, it is estimated that between 10 to 50 billion objects will be interlinked this way. Welcome to the world of the Internet of Things.
The Internet of Things is really about the total connectedness between hardware, people, data and location.
It's really an evolution of the internet. So where we've had connectivity for anyone, any place, anywhere, we're now also having connectivity to anything. And we're talking here about billions of things connected to the internet. So as well as we have our cell phones and we have cars being connected to the internet, but also sensors that are integrated into products that are gathering data about what's happening in the world around them. So looking at the personal level, we have our bodies. We have the wearables that are helping us to get more insight into our fitness, our movement, but also from a healthcare perspective, it can also help people to understand how they can manage their diabetes or Parkinson's disease. Then if you move out a little bit, then you've got the home domain, and then you've got the connection with your family and with your friends. Most of the applications now are much more focused on security. So they're actually looking at connecting up cameras, having automatic door locking systems that connect to your iPhone. But I think it's going to get more interesting when you get connectivity between people, where you can actually send messages that are more physical to each other, that are much more emotional, but also keeping that very private in the private sphere of the home. And then you can zoom out a bit more and then get to the city. There's a lot of things happening there. So for example, with smart lighting, where lighting is no longer going on and off at a set time, but it's actually coming on when it's needed and then dimming down and going away when it's not needed. So it's actually saving electricity, but also it can create much more interesting, more pleasurable atmospheres in the city and improve safety. And then you've got traffic systems that can be much better managed through connecting to the internet, whereby traffic can be routed around the city area in much more manageable ways, so that you don't have everybody getting stuck in one area of the city. But then you can actually zoom out even more to a planetary level, and there are actually groups that are having much bigger sensing systems to understand, for example, weather patterns, to understand what's happening to the movement of temperature, the melting of the ice. And this is also very interesting for, as well as predicting oncoming quite large natural situations that can cause disasters, it can also help with managing agricultural land. So looking at how areas of the world are growing, looking at water, and looking at other areas, for example, pollution, so how the air quality is developing in different parts of the world.
I don't think artists should only be playing the role of being critically reflective on this matter. I think they should also use the fact that there's now this whole new universe of total connectedness between people, data, locations. So if you add an element of storytelling into that, you have a very powerful tool, a powerful mechanism. You have like a worldwide audience to produce for, and I think that's amazing. So I hope we, as creative industry, are not only expected to be critical towards this system, but I think it can be of great use as well. The future of Internet of Things, it will go slowly, but it will be gradually. So things that are happening already right now, the fact that you have hardware that you can program and you can connect one hardware to other hardware, so whenever there's a trigger, something happens, everything will be related.
We are going to see some surprises. And one of the things at the moment is that a lot of the applications are extremely functional. So we're seeing ways of making things work more efficiently, controlling them in ways that are similar to how they work now, but much more automated, more efficient. But actually it's going to get more interesting when people start being more creative. And some of the technologies that are coming that are actually going to mix with the Internet of Things is where it gets really interesting. One of my favourites is drones, and that is actually at the moment exploding. But then if you think of these objects that are flying around, connected to the Internet, gathering data, gathering information. You've seen there's a recent one where it can actually be used as part of a sporting and part of gaming. So actually urban gaming, where you have these drones flying around and sharing information, where you can actually connect with devices on the ground and control and connect with people maybe in other parts of the world. So much more fun applications. This year, we're going to have the first full colour 3D printer available, but also the first printers where you can print electronics into objects. So now you can start imagining that people are going to be printing their things that they can then connect to the internet. And then you get a lot more creativity, personalization and customization. So thinking about the fashion items which are popular 3D printed objects at the moment, if they have embedded electronics in them, they can be used for connecting up to the internet.
One example of an Internet of Things project I've been working on that's really about producing local data and bringing that data back into augmented reality is this one. It's based on the Zephyr heart rate monitor. You wear it here. It monitors your heart rate, and thereby it monitors your concentration. So you can imagine if you're, for example, in a very boring presentation and the Zephyr heart rate, it's connected to a mobile phone. It sends the data to the local cloud of data, and your Google Glass picks that signal up. And when your concentration is too low, the Google Glass will show you visuals to wake you up and to make the presentation more enjoyable.
So this is a really simple system. You start with the blue, that's the power. So I've got a battery on this one, and then you add some kind of trigger, which can actually be just like this is a push button, but this one I like, it's a touch sensor. So I put the sensor there, and then I want an output. So here I have a number dial. So if I touch it, it immediately responds to the input. But the nice thing about this, I can also use a wireless transmitter. I've got 3 of these, so I'm going to put it on the middle one. And then I can actually use that to receive to this one, give it a bit of power. And what I'm going to do first is, I've got an RGB LED. So if I change that, but I can also maybe have a bar graph of LEDs for different types of outputs. So you can just play very quickly. So you can see moving up, so it can actually sense how much I'm touching it. And this one actually the kids love is I can make some noise. Trust me, they sit there going beep, 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 beep. It's very hands-on and it's very simple, but the nice thing is you've also got more complicated elements. So you've got the double or, you've got the ands and the nans. So you can actually just through using and playing understand what those different elements in electronics are. And then you can use the cloud bit and you can connect it up to the internet and you can start building your own Internet of Things electronics devices.